Okay, so for this video, I'm going to be rebuilding a Honda distributor. This one's from a D series. I'm going to be replacing the seals and the ignition coil in this one, as well as the rotor button and the distributor cap. We're going to start out with the 3 bolts that hold on the cap. Take it off. And there is 1 screw that holds on the rotor button there. When I took this distributor apart, I noticed that the ignition coil was pretty rough shape. Whoever had this before me actually didn't have the spring in there. So we're going to go ahead and take out these screws. I tried to use the impact driver, it kind of stripped them out, so use a hand screwdriver. It will do a lot better for you. And we're just going to pull out the screws. Use a flathead to pull this tab up so we can get this wire out the way. This ignition coil came with 2 Allen keys, so I think someone might have changed these out in the past. I'm not 100% sure. I believe I've seen them with both Allen keys and Phillips heads at this point. I'm not 100% sure though. So go ahead and take the 2 screws out holding these wires. Going to go ahead and take out as many of the screws as we can. So I ended up having to use some vice grips to get that screw loose. It was in there pretty tight. And then we're going to take the 2 off of the ignition coil itself. Thought I was going to get lucky with the impact driver there. Didn't work. So I go ahead and pull out the ignition coil. Next, I'm taking the distributor cap seal off. There's a couple more hidden screws. I ended up needing to use the vice grips on this screw too. It was completely blown out. Going to go ahead and work out the ICM. and we flip it over. There's this locking ring that holds in a pin. I'm going to go ahead and take off the lock ring. Alright, once you get that off, go ahead and mark the orientation. And then we're going to push out the pin, pull that off. And then we're able to remove this assembly. So inside there, that's the seal that a lot of people miss. This is the main one that we're replacing today. So I tried to get it with a pick, it wouldn't really come out. So go ahead and flip it over. And I used a flathead to get in there. And I just kind of hit it a couple times. And then eventually it came out. Here's the parts we're going to use. I'm going to have a link in the description. I'm going to go ahead and put this seal in with the split side down. And then to press it into place, I just used a socket. I don't remember what size I used though. So just go ahead and put a socket that fits and press it in there so it fully seats the seal. There you go. Go ahead and clean the shaft up a little bit so we can slip it back in. That's what she said. And just go ahead and put her in. Before you place this all the way in, make sure that you have the wire coming up through the big opening slot. And we can go ahead and put this back on the bottom. So on the bottom of the, I guess, gear with the teeth, there is a washer that was stuck to the bottom, so make sure you don't lose that and you put it back in. Go ahead and put the washer on, put that on, line it up, and then we can slip the pin in. And then once it's all the way in, go ahead and put our lock ring on. Okay. Next, we're going to hook everything back up to the ICM. Go ahead and get the ICM put in. Then we're going to start putting our screws back in. I thought I had taken a picture of my receipt with all the different screws that I bought to rebuild this thing, but I lost the picture and I apologize for that. I ended up taking the screws from this to Ace Hardware, and that's where I was able to find all of these screws and bolts locally in the proper thread pitch and length. So check your Ace Hardware if you have to replace a few like I did. Here is the new ignition coil that I ordered because the other one was burnt up. This one came with a spring. So I'm going to go ahead and slip it in. And of course, there will be a link to this in the description too. So going ahead and tightening these back up on here. Go ahead and put our bracket back in for the little wire. And then I just squeeze that in to hold the wire again. So next I'm going to use a wire brush and a little bit of alcohol to basically clean where the seal goes. I was being cheap. I didn't want to pay $11 for a new seal, and so I just use a little bit of RTV, and I'm reusing the seal and the gasket, whatever, to put the new cap on. Obviously, I did forget to put the rotor button on, so let's go ahead and do that first. So once we have the rotor button on, go ahead and put the new screw in that came with it. Be sure to put the spring into the ignition coil. And then we can put our new distributor cap on as well. I'll throw a link below for this cap set too. The cap set did come with new screws as well. And we're going to replace this outer seal. Here's the new one that came with the kit. And at this point, you're pretty much done, but I wanted to be a little extra since I was doing a lot of maintenance to the car. And I just wire wheeled everything up to clean it all up. Once again, as always, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, share, and comment. It would really help me out a lot. Thank you.